Okay, this is a model 648P Forest Manufacturing automatic cut and roll machine. Today we're going to do a little bit something different. We're going to do a bit of a how-to. The camera right now is focused in on what we call the flattening rolls assembly of the automatic cut and roll machine 648P. So as the basic sequence of the machinery, you've probably seen this in prior videos, but off to this side we start out with a roll of a material. This pulls it forward, flattens it out prior to it being cut and then rolled to the final shape. I'll just give you a little bit better zoom of that. There you go. This material here is rolled with the vapor barrier to the inside. That is not the standard rolling for this. As Howard Forrest designed this machine, he intended for the material to have the vapor barrier rolled to the outside. I understand his intention was that by having the vapor barrier rolled to the outside, first off you protect the outside finish of the material from scratching. It also helps with the set of the material. I'll illustrate this right here. So these three rolls are taking the pre-curve out of the material. Over here on this roll, the material comes off the roll, has a set to it. It's curled to the inside. The first thing we have to do is take that curl and flatten it out. That's what these are doing. The material that is rolled vapor barrier outside as it goes through here has an initial curl this way, what would be down, concave down. Goes to the flattening rolls, over to the forming rolls. The forming rolls curl it back up to the inside. So it's you're reversing the roll, so you don't have to worry about the set. You're completely taking the set out and getting the roll you want in. In this case though, with the material rolled to the inside, that can either be more or less rolled than you want. It also causes trouble with the feeding. If this material comes out and has a great amount of curl up, when we go to feed in to the forming rolls over here, it can actually go curl up so high as to miss this feed ramp. So it's important that we get the material out of these flattening rolls flat. These rolls are adjustable to account for various thicknesses and types of material. The default standard is to roll 016 aluminum with the vapor barrier to the outside. When we set this up at the factory, and if you ever have to readjust your machine, the protocol is to use a 1/4 inch shim in these blocks. So we've got far and near sides here. We've got lower and upper blocks carrying the rollers. They have springs between them and screws running through the upper block tapped in the lower block, so we can adjust the distance between the upper lower blocks and the pitch, front and back. In this case, where we have the material that has a pre-existing curl like this, we want to flatten it out. These first three rollers, this is a roller, this is a roller, and this is a roller. By pinching these down here, tighten this screw, bring these blocks together, pinch these down, the three rollers need a better illustration, but they form a triangle that will force the material to curl down, taking out this initial material set. So for this setup here, we have pinched down from the initial setting. So we started off with a 1/4 inch, we pinch this down, and we open this up to account for this thicker material with the roll preset going the wrong way. Something to watch out for though. If you tighten this up too far, this roller and possibly this roller can get bound up. They get so far down that they can catch on some adjoining parts or rub against some other parts down here, causing them to drag. We had this issue earlier where these were pushed down so tight that this roller was bound up and couldn't turn. The chain wound up skipping because this roller was locked up. The chain was skipping over the top of these sprockets. These two rollers here are locked together with this set of chains here. So this is the power chain. So it was skipping over the top of this sprocket and this sprocket, but still turning. It made a horrible noise, not good for the machine, but it was just because we had pinched down this too hard. That's something to watch for when you make these adjustments. We wound up doing, I believe it was 2 full turns in here of the screw, and 2 out here. You'll need to play with that for yourself depending on the material. This is 032 aluminum. It's got a paint coating on one side. It's got the plastic, I believe, sarin material, vapor barrier on the inside, so it's relatively thick, all built up. Thinner materials, 024, 020, different thicknesses. You have to make the adjustments yourself. We did a little bit of experimentation, found something that works for us, gives us a nice flat cut. But this is adjustability built into the machine. It can just be a little tricky to get it set up right. Most people just start off using 016 aluminum and it works fine on the default settings. But for this material, where it's rolled vapor barrier inside and it's a much thicker material, we're going to tighten these screws, loosen these on both sides evenly. I'll move the camera, give a better view of the overall machine from the operator side, and illustrate the operation. Hopefully you didn't get motion sick because I did that. I'll zoom in here, give you a little better view. Okay, so we have our roll of material loaded here, flattening rolls, blade, material will pay out here. This has our electronic proximity switch sensor in here, and then we'll curl the material up. Turn the machine to auto mode. Reset the piece count to 0. I've got it set for 3 pieces. Press start. And there you go. So it's all in the adjustment of the machine. Again, start with 1/4 inch spacers at all corners. What we recommend you do is use a 1/4 inch piece of key stock or flat bar, put it in, open these up, put the flat bar in, tighten the screws down until you're on the flat bar. Then loosen these screws up just a touch until you're able to slip fit those spacers out. That's your default baseline setting. Adjust from there as need be. For this material, start off by putting 2 turns in to these screws here, 2 turns out of these screws here, and make sure that these rollers are not binding up on any of the components like screw heads. And it'll work just fine. Thank you.